I think every person eventually reaches a moment where they sit down or even sit down, wherever they are, to ask themselves the hardest question in existence. What am I doing with my life? And what is the point of me being here? And I think this question is a very difficult question to ask. And every person's situation is different. But in terms of to dive into this, you gotta look at where it all begins, our childhood. And we're looking at our childhood. If I asked you this question when you were a child, you knew exactly what you wanted to be, and you knew how you were going to do it. And without hesitation, you knew in terms of your eyes, the way your behavior, your mannerisms, you knew exactly what you were going to be. No matter what anyone told you, you knew what you wanted to be and why you're here. And in a sense, with many people, we always wanted to do something that made us the most happy and what brought us joy. And with many situations, depending on what your upbringing was, it was to potentially bring meaningfulness into your family, or many situations like myself, take my family out the hood or take care of my family, for them to never worry again that my mom and dad. It was just something to make sure that they would never have to do anything or even work in a sense. And a lot of us have that same dream. And the older we get, or in a sense, our teenage years, we're given, in a sense, a glimpse to the big world. We learn how to develop skills to survive and prepare ourselves for what everyone calls the big bad world. And with those skills, we either fail or succeed. But then after that, we're put in or thrown into life, and the cycle continues. However, I feel this decision truly matters once you reach a certain moment in your life. Some can say age. For myself, it was age. I was kind of unhappy with my situation, kind of lost, didn't have a direction, and unsure how I can impact the world or how I can do certain things, or like my trajectory in life. And I think when this question hit me, I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what's the point of me being here? Like, I'm not really significance. I'm not really making the impact that I truly wanted. And what you're doing with your life, or what's the point of you being? I think it's a hard question to answer, but I can give a perspective of what I think. I think everyone is unique. I think your purpose or why you're here is to show the world your uniqueness, whether it's becoming famous, the family, your friends, everything like that, or simply just being true to yourself. As long as you are happy and fulfilled, I feel that's what truly matters. However, a lot of people like myself seek greater purpose and kind of want to make an impact in the world. And simply for myself, or many people, simply existing isn't enough. And when I face this question, or when people face this question, often it's when you're darkest times. It's when you're the lowest, when you're truly lost in the world. And you looked in the mirror, or you looked at yourself, or looked at the trajectory you're going, you're like, this is not where I want to be in 2, 3, 4 years. I ain't happy with this. And in terms of this video, it's more about discussing about what you need to make a decision, why you need to make a decision, why you need to make the decision now, hopefully today. Or in terms of wherever you are, it's time to make a decision. Age don't matter. In terms of this, hopefully the young'uns hit this, is you gotta make a decision on what you wanna do. And I think the way I'm gonna use is how anime depicts this decision and what the key factors and psychology that allows you to make a decision and impact the world the way you want to, or reach the true desire that you want to be. I think the decision is very important because it can decide the next decade or the rest of your life. You can continue to be, in a sense, miserable, upset with life, in that survival state, just making ends meet, or you can choose to chase your dream and that desire that you once had as a child, a thing that you knew you would achieve no matter what. And that glimpse of hope, that light that made you excited to see this thing or be this thing, or when anyone spoke about it, it just ignited the light in you. I think before I get into the anime, it's about understanding why this question happens at a certain age, moments, or circumstances. And I think for myself, it happened at a certain age. I reached a certain age, and then I started thinking, I'm not going to expose my age because I don't know you guys call me YN or Unc, but I reached a certain age and start thinking differently. But a lot of people can experience it sooner or later. It's the importance of understanding where you are and where you want to be. And many of our grandparents or the older generations, in my opinion, figured this out early and found a purpose or something that they wanted to do. And in our generation, it's very difficult to do because we have social media, constant access to entertainment. We never allow ourselves to be bored and be alone in our own thoughts. And I watched an interesting video recently which explained that being bored is necessary to ask ourselves the tough questions about our life and what we truly want. And the longer we avoid this question, the more it leads to a downfall and depression. And when we avoid it for so long, or been avoiding for many years, the one time we allow that to come through, to ask ourselves it was like time flew by, and it hits us like a ton of bricks, like a flashback in the sense of memories of mistakes, missed opportunities, and the potential that we could have unlocked in our life sooner. And it can lead to more depression. And it's a tough thing. And I think being bored is necessary. And I think in terms of something that you can take away in this video is you need to be bored. And especially if you ain't going to ask yourself this question, you need to be bored. The reason why you need to be bored is because you have to ask yourself and be in your own mind and ask yourself the tough questions that you avoid and that you still being avoided. Now I've explained why my thinking is like this. So how do we link this in anime? I think before we get into the anime again, I know. I think especially in Shonen, it exposed an important theme to me. And I think it follows from the childhood. And I think the reason that is important, or the reason why I believe this is the case, I think a child's imagination dreams and defines what success and how powerful it can be for one to achieve what they want to be. And I'm reading right now 48 Laws of Power, and the first, I think it's January the 1st, it highlights why linking in terms of being successful is linked to your childhood. And that's where your ambition or where your success or where you want to do lays. And if you're not sure what you want to do or how you want to carry on with your life, I think you need to read 48 Laws of Power, because it can access and allow you to go through, in a sense, memory lane about things that brought you joy, especially if you're in the time you're lost. It's very important to do this because it allows you to think, take back, and find that joy again, so you can chase the thing that you always wanted to chase. And this is before the innocence was taken away. And I think with the shonen, it highlights this because it starts with young characters. They're young, they don't understand the world, and the world they are creating from their imagination and what they believe. And I feel with a kid's imagination or a kid's ambition, you can truly, that's untouched, it can truly allow you to achieve what you want. And in the sense, I feel like you can conquer the world with the ambition of a child and the imagination of a child, because there's nothing stopping you. There's no limitations. There's nothing that's been put on you to stop you. You decide how the world works based on your imagination and ambition. And a lot of children, if you tell, they know what they want to be. You can tell them no, but they will argue to the death with them because they know in their head that, no, it's not possible. I'm going to be this. Oh, this video ain't got a lot of structure in it, and I do apologize. I feel like with this video, the reason why is because this conversation to come up, and I started thinking about this and wanted to make a video on it. And I think we can get back to the anime now, or get into the anime. And I think where I'm going to start off the video or start off the anime is with one of my favorite characters and one of the greatest characters in Shonen, the one and only, from the GOAT, One Piece, is Monkey D. Luffy. I think people don't realize how important Luffy is, or in terms of understanding Luffy as a character. I think Luffy is very important, or if you understand Luffy's character, is understanding his, in a sense, beginner's luck and naivety. And it's a mindset that has truly no limitations. He creates what he wants to do. And I think Luffy represents something that we once had as a child, that no limitations, endless possibilities, and that goal that we're going to achieve no matter what. No one's going to stop us. And even in manga right now, I'm not going to spoil, but real ones know that you kind of can see that. I think we all wish we could be like a character like Luffy, but life is beating us up so bad that we don't dare to dream. And we're told now that there's limitations and we've accepted it. But for a character like Luffy, in terms of how he views the world, there's no limitation. Everything that he wants to do, he can achieve. He can conquer the world, he can conquer the sea. And an important question I'd ask yourself is that when you're told, and we are told frequently, that only the 1% or the 1% are the only individuals that can get to the certain area, or you have to be the 1%. But why not you? Like, ask yourself truly to yourself, why can't you? And don't tell me background, da. No, I think it depends on your mindset. And a mindset like Luffy being told that he can't be the top 1%, he's gonna boink you in your head. And that's the truth. A mindset like this is very important. That's why I linked it to chill, like being a child. Luffy, in a sense, is a child, and he behaves like a child because he doesn't allow society to dictate his life or the way he views the world. The world is viewed through his own eyes. He will make a decision on how he views certain characters, obstacles, people, everything in life. He sees it through his own eyes. He doesn't have the media or people dictate his life. He dictates his life by himself. And a lot of us have allowed social media, people do this to dictate what is good, what is bad, why I can do this, why you can't do this. And in a sense, we've let our dreams that we once had go. I think a character like Luffy, why I love Luffy is because it's that light in me that I once had, and I look at it and I'm like, I want to be like Luffy. I want to create. I have no limitations. My ambition is my ambition, and in terms of there's endless possibilities of where I could end up. There's not one thing that they're gonna tell me no, I can't. At the end of the day, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm gonna succeed with it. I don't see no failure. I don't see no nothing. This is my goal, and I'm gonna win it. I'm gonna get to it no matter what. And that's why a character like Luffy is very good to understand the character. That's why I'm gonna get my children to watch it. It's because if you teach them from young that nothing is impossible, and to view the world like Luffy, I promise you, son's gonna be a billionaire too, you know what I'm saying? But a character like Luffy is just fascinating because he understands the world through his own eyes. No one needs to understand the world for him. And the second character I'll be covering is on the dark side. And please don't get angry, but it's Griffith. Okay, I can hear you screaming. Okay, I am sorry. But let me make this clear. I'll put a disclaimer. I do not condone Griffith's actions. He deserves all punishment. Throw him to the pits. Fork him. I agree with you. However, listen. However, as a villain, he's a true masterpiece. He's one of the greatest villains of all time. Like, we can't argue about this. And I think understanding Griffith is like understanding how the world, understanding how the elites that people call work and operate. At the end of the day, they have an ambition and a goal and something that they want to do. And a person like Griffith, his dream is the only thing that matters. And chasing his dream, he chases with absolute conviction and will do anything and all means to chase his dream. With this, I'm not saying, okay, before we continue the video, I'm not expecting you to commit any crimes. I say again, do not commit any crimes. However, I think what Griffith did is wrong. I agree with you. However, in terms of what he did, he stayed, and I always say he stayed true to himself. Because looking at Griffith is like looking at a person that had this dream of like Luffy, and that's it. It's like, that's him. His dream is it. And he did let everyone know that you guys are just my pawns in a sense for me to achieve my dream. And no matter what, obviously in the darkest moments in his life, like I say right now, this decision will come to you in the darkest moments in your life. And with Griffith, it did come to the darkest moments in his life. And with no shadow of a doubt, he believes he didn't do anything wrong in that day. And that's in his opinion. However, with that conviction, that's what a lot of us lack in terms of making this decision. With a person, if you know where you want to be and you don't want to be here in the next 5-10 years doing the same thing, why the hell haven't you had this conversation earlier? And why ain't you now, by watching this video, also like and subscribe, why don't you make the decision now? In essence, I'll ask you this question. Look at your surroundings and looking at everything that's holding you down, the obstacles that are blocking you from your dream. Are you willing to sacrifice your old self to achieve what you want? Are you willing to do so? And I think it's a question that you gotta ask yourself. Are you willing to do everything, sacrifice all the things, the limitations, everything that you set up for yourself to stop you from achieving your dream or desire? Are you willing to sacrifice that? And I say again, I do not condone crime or violence. This is metaphorical. And I think if you are, it's time to answer that question and say, yes, I'm ready to make that decision of where I want to be in the next 5 years. So like setting a plan. With this decision, you're basically setting a plan or where you want to be in the next 10 years. And if you continue and you say no, you don't want to do it, then cool. Be comfortable with that decision. But if you're not, if you say yes, that you're going to chase your dreams or chase what you want to be, then you just set the next 10 years of greatness. I promise you. And the last character that I'll be covering, it's an anime that I haven't watched in a while, but I had to check it out again. And when I checked it out again, I realized it was kind of cold. And this is Shinra from Fire Force. And I think Shinra is a perfect example of different aspects of this decision. And I think with Shinra's decision, it's something from after all certain places where a person has continued to have dreams. For example, you have your dream, Shinra has a dream, but due to like certain things like appearance, upbringing, environment, you're kind of seen as unworthy, or you're deemed that you can't do this thing because of those set things. And society kind of labeled him, or society kind of labels a lot of us to be this certain thing. And with Shinra's case, he's labeled the devil, even though he's a good guy. Doesn't make any sense, just due to appearance. But in a sense, what matters is your response to society or the world or to this. And I think what he does, and I think what Shinra is very important, is because he rejects what society deems to be acceptable or deems for him to be. And he, in a sense, he is that mindset, excuse my friends, that fuck the world. And what's important to him is, I want to be who I want to be and chase my dreams. And I agree, there's no excuses. I think your upbringing doesn't define you, your environment doesn't define you, you define yourself. And I think the person watching this, you watching this, it's time to make a decision on where you want to be in the next 5-10 years. It's time to make a decision where you want to be for the rest of your life. If you're miserable, not enjoying your life, doing certain things that you don't want to do, you're not really fulfilled, not doing it, it's time to make a decision. Are you going to continue to do this, end up more miserable, or chase your dream and more likely going to be happy? At the end of the day, it's your choice. And I think if you don't do it now, depending on what age you are, I think like a 12-year-old, you can't make a decision like this. But I would say, once you reach a certain age, I'll say 18. 18, no, okay, 18 is I'll say, cool, 25. I think that's a bit I think it's okay. At the end of the day, if you're watching this video, that means you gotta make a decision, okay? And I think when making a decision, you gotta choose where you want to be in the next 5. I think this decision ultimately impacts your life or where you want to be. I think all these characters are different, but I think the same idea lays in there, like the decision of what you're gonna do with your life. If you don't change your mindset, if you don't break society's limitations that they put on you, you continue the cycle. That's it. So what do you want to do? What are you going to decide with your life? And what are you going to do to change your life? I think in terms of this, I'm going to break down key important things that are important to understanding how to change your life. Or if you made a decision to change your life at the end of this video, congrats to you. And I wish you a very successful life on your journey of changing your life and a great decision that you've made in your life. But first, what I'll be covering is, I think the first thing you gotta remove negativity. And I think there's a little voice in your head that's telling you why you're watching this guy. Don't listen to it. It's your old self, and it's the one that's been shaped by society. Don't understand how important this video is. And I think it's about letting go of all of the things that you carry on or you've had in your mind. I think meditation is very key, and I think it's very important to a person that's decided to change their life. And the reason why is because with the meditation, it's allowing your mind to be free, to remove all those unnecessary comments, things that have happened in your life, and then for it to breathe. And even if you don't want to meditate, I think the best thing is just being in the quiet room, being by yourself, just switching everything off and just being your own thought and letting your thoughts just flow. I think it just allows you to be a lot more freedom, and then stop those old self and all these things that you've heard throughout the day from affecting your mindset and affecting how you see, especially if it's a lot of negative things or people that you're around. Doing this allows you to take a break and refresh your mind in a sense. And I'll say the second thing, social media is the biggest influencer in decisions like this. And I think with social media affects your mood, your mindset, and your beliefs, even if you don't realize it. I think your one negative headline can ruin your day. I think the world now just thrives on negativity. Negativity is what is brought through your phone. If you were to switch your phone right now, you just see something negative. And I think what you need to do is that you need to reduce the amount of content that is affecting your mind. I think I've seen recently about people complaining about tax and all these things. I honestly just let that go, because with that, it's not going to affect, it does affect my life, don't get it twisted. I don't allow negative headlines or people that are trying to shape a certain narrative to affect how I'm feeling today, tomorrow, or the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? And I think when you accept that, it allows you to be in your own frequency that's away from this whole frequency of, what do you call it? I can't remember the way. Heath mind. I'm not too sure in terms of the name, but in terms of that, you need to separate yourself from what the 99% are and put yourself in that 1% in your own frequency. And your feed shapes your view in the world, and if you don't control it, it's what you consume you. It will decide your life. And the third thing, I think the harsh truth or the truth about life is, if you don't do it, someone else will. That's the truth. And someone will see the success of it. And life, in essence, doesn't wait for anyone. The universe doesn't pause. It continues no matter what. So if you don't chase your dream or do what you want to be, cool. And your dream won't chase you. Your dreams don't chase anybody. That's the funny thing. You chase dreams. So you're just going to sit there just be thinking that everything's just going to magically work in the next 2-3 years. You're not going to be miserable in the next 2 years. I got a shocker for you. You're going to look at this video in the next 2 years and be questioning, I swear I watched this video. And I think the last thing I would also say is that you got this perfect world, society, perfect time, perfect moment. It's not real. You either break the cycle, make the change, or you don't. And that's the harsh reality. And I think a lot of this you see in anime, you see a lot of situations. I think if you really want to change or make this decision, or you've made this decision, you got to change the way you view the world.